What is going on, everyone? My name is Boit. I should be player 3, and I am back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action, spawning in the left side of the map in the blue color, playing as Odin. His name is Oden, or Grand Monster. Grand Monster Odin, yes. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Isis. His name is Jeff. Currently 1-1 in this best of 3 series for the group stages of the Age of Mythology competitive mega random tournament. $1,000 on the line for the eventual winner. Well, that's the prize pool. The total prize pool would be, $1,000. So everybody gets a little bit if they make it far enough in the tournament. So we do have another map. We have another game. We have another me. We are now seeing Grand Monster deciding to move away from the Egyptian, deciding to try out his hand at Norse here. Now, Norse is his main, and I'm surprised to see him kind of not using it in this game, especially against another Norse player. And I know that Norse mirrors can be a little bit daunting, but it's always a good time to be a Norse player in a Norse mirror if you know the Norse meta. Anyways, another game, another me, another you. We'll see what these guys are going to do. It's a relatively decent hunt map here. We've got a good amount of deer over here. We've got a good spawn over here as well for Jeff. And we've got good hunt over here on the Holy Dream Town Center. Holy Dream Town Center. We've got a gold mine on this town center. We've got a bunch of elk here as well. And we've got a beautiful amount of pine trees, oak trees, just making this thing just look absolutely disgusting. Thanks so much for the 3 months, Jeff. He's over here. He's saying hi. What's going on, my friend? All right, so this is one of those games where Isis needs to go fast second town center. You see this town center, you have an orgasm, and then you go, great, 4-minute advance time, get this town center, win the game. Very, very tough here for a Norse player to crack the Isis. He's also got a back gold mine over here. Everything beautiful here. The problem is that that Isis players are going to be very used to wanting to play Anubis style here. Anubis style is really, really strong. One town center because of reasons that like the town center isn't very good. Normally you don't get a map this good, so you're not aware of how strong a 2 town center safe resource town center is going to be. So we'll see what Jeff is going to decide to do here as he's throwing his temple up. He's got his monument up. He's got 2 villages on wood. We have seen that Jeff prefers to do this later advance time, even if he is going for 2 town centers. So I can't say for guarantee that he's going for a 1 town center play here. But if this is me with 2 villages on wood now, you kind of are going to be fairly aware that I'm going 1 town center play, or anyone of a pretty high level would be along the same train of thoughts, I would guess, as Grand Monster now going to be advancing through Freya. No surprises there. We have seen players like Rappel going for Heimdall in matchups similar to this, going for the safeguard watchtowers. But Freya just seems to be a little bit more safe here. Getting that Valkyrie out is really nice. And especially maybe a forest fire over here to open up this hunt might be necessary. Klepesh of Horus is here as well. That's going to be a beautiful relic there for Grand Monster. One thing that I would like to see, I would like to see some changes to relics just in a little bit here. Klepesh of Horus only affecting heroes seems like a little bit of a letdown for the Jarl unit, which is a really important key unit here in this matchup against the Antis Eclipse of Isis, but we do see Anubis coming through anyways. And also against Anubites, those Jarls could be utilizing this one a lot better. But Grand Monster's going to be happy to see this relic because it means he's going to be able to deal with those Anubites just a little bit easier here. As we are seeing Anubis coming through, we're seeing the second monument coming down. And Jeff here has got himself his pickaxe already. Should be thinking about getting himself husbandry as well fairly soon. One thing that players don't realize a little bit is how good husbandry is to boost your food gather rate on hunt as well. It doesn't give you a boost in terms of the actual gather rate. It just reduces the walking time by by twice as fast. So if your villagers are moving 1 second every time they drop off, that's 2 seconds every time they drop off. So like 2 seconds is kind of equal to 2 resources every single time that you drop off resources, if that makes any sense. So you can, it'll pay itself off pretty fast. And you also get yourself these pigs here as well that get a bit fattened up. As we see the Anubite coming out, and Anubis is through, and Grand Monster is going to see that and be a little bit worried here. We'll see what he's going to go for. He's dropping down double longhouse here. And we see the house coming down as well. The Valkyrie has spotted that Anubite here. This is smart here from Grand Monster. I love this. You find the Anubite with your Valkyrie at the start. Don't let that Anubite get anywhere, and you just chase it down. The Valkyrie's got 5.5 speed, so it's going to forever chase the Anubite down. And you just put a stop to any sort of early game raids here. So you do see a wall coming up on this position here for Grand Monster, playing it safe. At this point, Necropolis coming through for Jeff. We are also seeing an early prosperity coming down here for Jeff, as he's probably going to be looking to grab this town center behind all of this, or go straight to the Heroic Age. Though a Heroic Age Anubis, a little bit interesting, a little bit confused about what that would look like. Maybe Hathor, though, could be a better option. Drop a huge Locust down with the Anubites running around. So we do see a priest now coming in onto this position, looking to do a little something, but the Herso says, nope, not today. And this Anubite just running around, scouting out his opponent's base, seeing what he can find. He does spot these villagers here. One thing that is important to do with your villagers is to Alt-S them. You don't want them to move when the Anubite jumps in. As we see, a second Anubite is out here. He has missed this hunt, though, unfortunately, as this Anubite might need to kind of jump here and get out. He does hit those villagers. Anubite gets caught out here. The Herso do tons of damage here, and they do manage to snipe that one down. This is absolutely huge for Grand Monster, as he's not taken any damage thus far by the Anubites. Right now, it's just Jeff is just all over the map here. He's got himself some axemen out. He's got himself some spearmen out. He's looking for this hunt that's on here. There is this hunt over here, but surely Jeff has to have some sort of an inkling that something's over here. The early game is really, really hard here for Isis to keep up with what Odin can kind of muster really fast. And if you don't get the damage done with those Anubites, it can be hard to keep up. As we do see a handful of priests getting built here as this Anubite retreats back here. The Axemen attacking this one, getting some good damage done. And the priest here will be able to heal this Anubite back up, as we do see the Axemen spotting a raiding cavalry over here. And we'll see what Jeff is going to be able to do here. We see these units out of position just a little bit, but he is going to be retreating away kind of fine. And there's a town center coming down now for Grand Monster. He does have decent gold mines all over the map, though it is something to be a little bit concerned against. Against the Isis Classical Age, because you can put a lot of pressure on with these Classical Age units on that gold mine. So we'll see what Jeff's going to do as a response. One thing that he can do is go Heroic Age and try and push through. Another thing he can do is just go mass units and try and just gold starve, though it's a little bit tough. These villagers are going to be making their way over onto this hunt over here. A little bit dangerous here, but Jeff kind of allowing Grand Monster to get away with it for the time being, though it seems like he has got an inkling to move down to this food right now, and that's going to be a nice job there, a nice attack movement. So Grand Monster going to be retreating away, though. He does have this gate already set up as the Anubites come in. They're still not Guardian Anubites, though, so doing a little bit less damage than they otherwise should be. Does manage to hit all the villagers, getting a big amount of splash damage done. The villagers going to be retreating away. And we will be seeing one getting picked off here, it seems. Yes, it does. And another jump, but they do miss that one there. And they'll have to retreat away. They can jump into the main base of Grand Monster now. So you're now starting to see some raids coming through. Grand Monster spots these villagers over here. This is a big difficulty for Isis. Isis hates raids. Very tough to deal with them. She's going to have to move back into her base or lose a ton of villagers here. As Feet of the Jackal is finally coming through. Going to be a big help for Jeff. So the Anubite's just hanging out over on this position here. We see the Pharaoh getting spotted here. He's going to get taken out. The villagers immediately pulling back. Might be worth it to cast Forest Fire or something on one of these positions if he can. As the villagers retreating back up to the army that's coming in. There is a priest here to help take down the Valkyrie. The Pharaoh gets back into the tower. No problems here. The villagers, nope, the hearse are coming over here. Do see these raids coming down now onto the front here for Jeff as he is getting pushed off food in every which way, as Jeff looks like he's trying to get to the next stage. Does he have himself shaft mine? No shaft mine, no husbandry. 500, nearly 600 wood in the bank. Some pretty big mistakes there that are going to definitely bite him in the bum as the Pharaoh moving over onto this position. Jeff trying to get himself this town center so he can happily eat this food over here. But a very, very delayed second town center at that, as Grand Monster, well, he can just go heroic age now, I would say, if he wants to. He's playing it safe. He's moving up to the top corner of the map now onto this hunt. Jeff hasn't spotted that, though. He hasn't scouted that one out. I don't even think he's probably scouted out his own elk, which, well, he's got aurochs here, maybe. I don't know exactly where they were. Oh, they were up here. So he does know that there is another spawn of elk somewhere on the map. But right now, Grand Monster's army is incredibly strong as we see the units moving in. A beautiful forest fire over here. And Jeff going to be attempting to retreat away. We do see the Plague of Serpents getting dropped down, but these Plague of Serpents going to get immediately killed here in 2 shots by those Hersa, which have got that relic giving him, the Kobosh Horus, giving them 100% extra bonus damage. Jeff with half his army over here, not in the fight either. And Jeff has to pull back. Jeff's at 100 population and Grand Monster's at 130 population here, as Grand Monster can just completely dictate the pace of this game right now by continuing to put pressure onto his opponent. We are seeing Grand Monster pulling back for the time being, but he's definitely got the advantages right now. He's throwing down some farms as well, getting well and truly set up in this game. Resources low, playing it nicely here. Jeff taking his time. Does he have an armory up somewhere? He's throwing the armory up. Definitely wants to get to the next age. Going to be out of this gold mine soon, but he does have a nice gold mine back here. It's going to be tough to get onto, especially with the town center being grabbed here by Jeff. Now Grand Monster wandering up to the top side of the map pit, making sure the town center is not getting snuck or anything like that. Looking for some raids somewhere here. And the villagers just about to finish up this food over here. Still not enough food to advance. So Jeff kind of stuck in the classical age here, and Grand Monster has managed to advance through Skadi here already in this game. A decent timing here. 2 town centers, 12-minute, full population, heroic age, as Grand Monster is utilizing this hunt wonderfully in this game. As we see the raiding cavalry swinging around onto this position, going to be going after these villagers. Jeff has to pull back. A beautiful raid here. I would love to see medium raiders coming through to help out. The Valkyrie still too fast to get hit here for the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh's kind of damage is a little bit sad that he can't hit the speedy Valkyries, I guess. But, you know, it is what it is. And Grand Monster losing a couple of raiding cavalry on that raid here. So that's a little bit of a mistake. Probably could have gotten out back the way he came, but let's get chased down just a little bit. Retreats away, no problems. We will be seeing a town center getting grabbed on the front here for Grand Monster. Very nice, very aggressive. Take this one away from his opponent. We see the units circling around the enemy raiding cavalry here beautifully. But they do manage to slip through nonetheless, as Jeff's got a huge amount of infantry units out, and Grand Monster is struggling just a little bit with his own raiding cavalry army, but he's going to move in. He's got plenty of units. He can cast. He can definitely think about casting Frost here if he so chooses. He's got his Frost Giant. He can do whatever he wants. Getting himself Thundering Hooves as well. The units moving in. Will we see a Frost or not is the question. It's like he's just going to take the fight, and he does cast Frost, hitting every one of those units. Tons of kills going to be coming in here for Grand Monster. We just see a handful of slingers on the back here trying to take down those throwing axemen over here. Just need to bring a handful of raiding cavalry over there to deal with that one. Not happening just yet, as Jeff is trying his hardest to snipe down some of those throwing axemen there. But they will all get taken out nicely, and Jeff retreating back over there. He's not going to really be able to retreat here. I'd like to see just a cheeky wall here as well. Just like one wall to make it a little bit challenging for Jeff to get out of here. But I feel like as soon as the frost is done, Jeff's going to drop down to like 100 population very quickly. And we are seeing Winter Harvest through for Grand Monster as well. I've talked about it once. I'll talk about it a million times. Winter Harvest is like getting plow and irrigation all in one upgrade, and it's incredibly cheap. Only 200 food, 20 favor, especially when favor is effectively free for the Norse. The army retreating back here for Jeff. And, well, we'll see how it's going to go. Heavy cavalry coming through now for Grand Monster as he is moving to this location. Going to try and bash down this town center as Jeff effectively now has to spend all of his food that he's getting from these farms on those infantry units to deal with what Grand Monster's constructed here. He needs slingers, he needs spearmen, and maybe even axemen as well here. So we see those heavy raiders coming in. Heavy raiders are incredibly scary. 141 HP, 9.6 damage. The villagers do get pulled, but they will be making a run for it right now as we see a forward hill fort getting dropped over here. Units getting caught out as well. And Jeff is in an incredibly difficult position right now as the raiding cavalry push off this gold mine. The hill fort controls this front gold mine. We've got 2 frost giants to take this down. Can even start seeing potentially some Huskarl or something like that come through if he so chooses. Maybe a portable ram as well if he really wants to get happening here. He's also already got himself heavy cavalry. So legendary Jarls? No. Great Jarls coming through for Grand Monster to just completely destroy his opponent here. And now Grand Monster is more than happy to just sit under this town center fire, destroying all the units of Jeff as Jeff is doing his best to micro those slingers onto the throwing axemen, but it's just a little bit too much for him as Grand Monster's population is not moving down at all. Jeff's is just getting absolutely destroyed here. 88 population remaining as the raiding cavalry continuing to move over onto this position, and Jeff in that moment does decide to tap out here. GG, Grand Monster gets the win, gets to go on to the next round here with some clutch Odin play here on this mega random map. Jeff here, I love the Anubis attempt, but Anubis is such a... Essentially, you have to really study Joe recorded games to learn what he does with Anubis against the Norse gods in order to work out how to play Anubites correctly, because it's really, really challenging to just go, oh, Anubites are great versus Odin, but you have to control them well. You have to get the damage done, and you have to work out where to go with that. The other thing is, if we just went this town center, 2 town center, fast heroic here, would have been really tough for Grand Monster to stop, I feel. And Jeff just kind of not realizing it, not going for the fast advance into the 2 town center play, missing that one maybe in the early game with his Pharaoh scouting, his priest scouting, and kind of opting for the wrong strategy in a big way here. But kudos to Grand Monster really showing off with his Odin. He is one of the strongest Odin players in the game, so beating his Odin is always a challenge, and he gets to take this win, and going to be very happy about that one. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.